So do you identify? You identify more with being American, hey?
Yeah, I didn't even. I remember asking my grandpa when I was like 13, be like, "What is our background?" And he's like, I think we're English. So that's what I've always said. So I could be fucking German. I have no idea,
Yeah,
but I know Hartley is the last name that is very English.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's a English Scottish for sure, or something like that. I think
yeah.
I googled it before you came on here. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
I've been getting into that for the last little while, is figuring out what names are what ethnicity, especially for
Right.
whites, because there's so many different kinds of whites. It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah,
Too many. Put them in a box. Throw them
no
down the
doubt.
river. Yeah.
Throw them away like a couple of puppies you
Yeah.
didn't want. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. We'll do that with the who would we do that with? The French or
I was thinking those fucking people in the Cajun people is what I was thinking. They're already right by the water. You can't understand what they're saying anyways, you know?
exactly, bingo, bingo. There you go. Please go subscribe to our YouTube page, Canadian Talk with Stephan podcast. We need you down there. Also, we have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you'll find the audio versions. As well, you can email us if you got a question or anything you want to see us talk about. Canadian Talk with Stephan at gmail.com.
There we go. Yeah, I got you now.
You can see me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Hey, man, how's it going?
It's going good. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm Stephan, right? And you're
Nick
Nick
Hartley.
Nick Shartley. Yeah,
Dick Shartley.
yeah. Yeah, what a nightmare this has been. Holy crap. It's like you were like, I'm on mountain time. And I'm like, all right. So I Google that, and it's like mountain time apparently is the same as Saskatchewan time. That's what Google said.
Oh, well,
And
I don't
then
know.
or maybe is your town, like, I don't know where you live. Are you maybe not on direct mountain time?
I'm in Phoenix, so I don't know. The whole time stuff has always been. I don't know a lot about it. I just Googled where I was at. I was like, where am I at right now? No, am I in
Cool.
Mountain Time?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we had a bit of a mix up there. Yeah, and then my
Yeah.
camera, I was just having an issue with my camera too. It wouldn't turn on. We look like a couple of old guys here who don't know how to use technology.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I am wearing overalls, so
Mm. Yeah, man.
one of us is old at least.
For sure, for sure. Okay, well, yeah, let's get the show going. You good to go?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
All right. Here we are for another episode of Canadian Talk. This will be episode 81, and we've got another comedian on the show. Uh, this is no slate to any other comedians that I've had on the show, I promise. But I'm very excited to have you on the show. I've been watching your content, even though there's not that much of it, but it's like it's really funny. Have
I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, and so basically you do a little bit of stand up, and you've been doing it for a short time, right? Under a year.
Oh
Yeah,
no, I've been doing it for 3 years. I just only started posting videos.
3 years.
This.
Okay, and yeah, and you do skits on your
Right.
Instagram. You have a YouTube
Mhm.
channel, Nick Hartley 6137. You probably should change that.
Yeah, I don't know how. I googled it and then it was too difficult. So I just thought, well, the 400 people that watch my reels, they can just deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, just stick to the
But
Instagram. Hey,
yeah.
keep it one social media. I know there's so many of them out there nowadays. It's like which one do I even use? Like,
Well, and my sister wants me to get TikTok, but I'm not all about like China spying. I mean, I don't have anything for them to take, but still,
dude,
you
that's
know.
weird, right? The United States just made TikTok illegal or something like that, right?
Yeah, well, good old Donald,
Yeah,
that's what he does.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I guess I'll get it. I don't know. I think I'm gonna wait till I get like more response on some of my stuff, and then I'll start branching out. But like for right now, I'm already so busy doing a whole lot of stuff. I just don't want to go through the mess of everything else.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know.
Well, yeah, but I just wanted to open the show and say thank you for coming on, and that
Absolutely.
yeah. So I'm interested. I've got tons of questions for you and stuff like that, and I want to hear what you're up to. I want to learn more about you too, like because it seems like you are a lot like me, kind of without the stage anxiety. Like I used to be an athlete as well. Like you play rugby, right?
Yeah, well, I used to. I'm washed up now, but
Mhm.
I played professional for like 2 weeks, so that
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
See, that's kind of the
Um,
same as me. Here in Canada, we have what's called the Western Hockey League, like, and I played in that for like 2 weeks. So it's like we're both kind of like fake
yeah,
professionals, and we're still chasing the rush. So we came over to comedy, you know.
yeah,
So
that's fair.
yeah, sorry, I don't mean to label you either. That's just me. I just see that kinship in you. So like, so you do these fake commercials that
Right.
I've been starting to do commercials for podcasts myself that like I put in that are fake. I mean, not gonna lie, I seen Adam Ray do it, so like I'm copying or I'm being derivative of another
Uh,
comedian anyway. I don't know where you got the idea. Did you just come up with it yourself?
well, I've always wanted to do a podcast, and I don't like to do stuff that everyone else is doing. So I guess I didn't know Adam Ray did
Yeah,
fake ads, but I just kind of had this idea of like, well, I would never get like real ads. So for a while,
yeah,
so I was like, why don't I just do like fake ads? Because I haven't seen a lot of it, and plus that's where I think a lot of my comedy comes from is just overall silliness.
yeah,
And I have like a bunch of ideas that I've wrote down and I've tried to do on stage that are just too silly and not believable that I haven't quite figured out how to make stage funny yet.
yeah.
So I was just like, let's just throw them online in a clearly fictional medium and see what happens. And they're really fun. I enjoy doing them. I take two dissimilar things and I put them into one a lot of times. Or like I don't know if you've seen the industrial adhesive lint roller one.
Yeah, I have. That
Uh,
one's really funny because,
yeah.
I have a hairless cat, and I was like, holy shit, this is hilarious. This is a hilarious joke you wrote here.
I saw a hairless cat one time and I thought, oh my gosh, like you wouldn't need a lip roller for that. And then I tried that bit on stage for a while and it just wasn't quite there. It didn't have an idea behind it that I liked, so I just
Yeah,
stocked it away. And I thought, well, these are kind of funny to me. Is there a way I can make them funny? And so I did that. And one of these days, I'm going to do a real podcast, and I'm going to have actual guests on it, and I'm going to be like, oh, we're going to do fake ads real quick. And but for right now, I'm sort of testing out the waters to see if they're getting traction, and it's nice to see that they're getting a little bit of traction, which is cool.
definitely.
So
Yeah, they're super
yeah,
funny. Just one second. On my end, I'm getting a little bit of feedback from your internet. It just cut out. Oh, there we go. You're back now.
okay,
Okay. You can see me clear though, right?
yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, we're good. We're back. All right. Sorry about that. We caught all of that story there, but it's just we're losing your video on my end a little bit. Like it might be like a internet issue or something like
Yeah, I
that.
mean, I have two bars, so I can move near the window, I guess. That's all
Oh,
I know about internet is
yeah.
I just move closer to the outside.
Yeah. Closer to
But
the outside. Yeah, I guess if you're on Wi-Fi, eh?
yeah.
So,
Well, I'm not on Wi-Fi. I don't have money for that. God no.
no, what? Oh, you're just on the hotspot that you pay for through the
Oh yeah,
connector.
I'm on poor people stuff. That's what I'm
Mhm.
on.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
It's getting to you by pigeon. Yeah.
Okay, so let's ask you a few questions here. What? So you're talking about kind of like the stage stuff, and like you're at that level already with comedy. How did you get the performing bug? Like, we're in high school. Were you in a play? You know, that kind of thing. Where did you start with that?
Yeah, I suppose so I was like we both have this thing about sports. I played baseball a lot. That was my hockey, but I was really
Gotcha.
really bad at hockey if you ask me.
Yeah.
So, I always wanted to play baseball and my sister was a much better athlete than me and she didn't want to play softball. So I was kind of like living through her as a 17-year-old kid.
Okay.
And and
That's
I was
funny to
like,
say.
you
That's a
can't
bit
quit
right there.
softball.
That's funny to
Yeah,
say.
well,
That's a
I
bit
need to
right there.
work
My
on it.
sister was better than me at sports. Is funny to say.
Right. And she's 4 years younger than me too, which is awful.
Yeah.
But she wanted to quit softball, and I was like, you can't quit softball. And she was very involved in dance, and she basically was like, if you do one of the theater shows at the dance studio I go to, then I will do softball. Like thinking I wouldn't do it. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll do that because I just wanted to see you play softball. And so then I
Okay.
did that, and I was like, this is actually really like the first show I did. We had to do improv because somebody showed up late, and we were like the pirates who don't do anything. And so we were sitting there like we don't do anything. We're so lazy. And I piped in with, "We're so lazy we can't even feed ourselves." And they're like, "Well, how are we alive if we can't feed ourselves?" And I just panicked. I was like, "The rats fed me." Like I don't know, the rats fed me. They did, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something. And then later on, I just screamed out, "I got stabbed in Queens!" I was just
Yeah.
doing random stuff.
Oh yeah. So you
And
kind of started in that
it,
improv world, hey?
yeah, I suppose so. And I just kept doing shows, and I liked it. And then I went to college and
So your sister,
played
sorry to interrupt.
baseball.
Sorry to interrupt. College baseball. So your sister kind of coaxed you into it. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
So
she really did.
that's amazing. So does she find you really funny growing up? Is that why you think she coaxed you in?
No,
No.
she doesn't find me funny in the slightest. I tell her my jokes sometimes. She goes, "I don't know."
Oh,
Yeah, that's what she says.
I know how that feels.
And dude, it really at first it bothered me because I was like, maybe I'm not funny, and then like I would do okay on stage, and I'd be like, maybe she's just a woman. I don't know, but yeah, she.
Yeah.
The weird thing is she has like the same sense of humor as me. She just doesn't find me funny.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's
Yeah.
the worst part.
Yeah. I don't think it's misogynistic to say that it is hard. Women have a different sense of humor than men, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
she
different.
likes cutesy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I go ahead.
So you were saying college and baseball.
Yeah, so I went to college, sort of conned my way onto a baseball team, thinking I could get better because we didn't have high school baseball as a kid. So I basically just played rec league ball. So then I was always fast though, and I kind of called it like I called like 60 coaches and was like, just let me be on the team, whatever. And
Oh,
I was saying some dumb stuff like I'm really good at diving for fly balls, or some stupid shit
way to
like
sell
that.
yourself, man. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't a very good selling point though, because they're like, well, if you're fast enough, why are you diving for fly balls?
Yeah. You should be right
I was like,
under it. Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
But then one guy took a chance on me, and then I played. I got a little bit better. Yeah, but I realized like I just don't have it.
Mm.
I don't have it. So I went to college to do engineering, and that's where I got into rugby.
Oh,
And
cool.
halfway through doing engineering school, I realized like I really don't want to do this. And
Hey,
I
that's
sort of
probably a good time to find that out because I graduated the whole shit, and then 4 years into my career, I was like, hey, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Well, I still got my degree because against my own will. My mom what made me get my degree, which hasn't paid off yet. I've been applying for jobs, but I don't have one.
Hey, man,
Excuse
I'm in the
me.
same boat. I
Yeah.
actually, yeah, yeah. Actually, I won't tell you that story right now. Sorry, continue.
Well, so I was working for my landlord at the time, just doing like general maintenance and some construction stuff. And spring break happened, and he was going to some place, and I thought, well, I'm not going to stay in Rolla, Missouri, and gain an addiction of some kind over spring break, so that he can go to Maui. So I was like, I'm just going to drive down to Dallas, Texas, and try stand-up comedy. And I drove down to Dallas. Still to this day, it's like the best experience I've ever had. I just slept in my car. I was homeless. I loved it. And just went to every single mic wearing overalls in the heart of Dallas. It was a whole lot of fun. I didn't do that well, but I realized I was like, this is something I want to do. Like no matter what I have to do, I just want to get good at this.
For sure.
And so I did that for like the first year. I would just drive down to Dallas and then come back. And I did that 3 or 4 times and realized it wasn't sustainable. So I started an open mic in Rolla, Missouri, where I could give myself like 15 minutes. And which, in my opinion, was good and also a mistake because I wasn't ready to do 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
And so there was a lot of old ladies in the crowd, and it dwindled down. There was 4 comics total in the town, and so everybody got a shitload of time, and they were not good. They shouldn't
yeah.
have been doing it. So we had to fill an hour though, and basically that fizzled out after 4 months, and I didn't do comedy for oh shit, I want to say like almost a year to a year and a half until I graduated, and I got super lucky because I was pretty good at rugby. So a team in Austin, Texas, actually was like, "Hey, well, do you want to come down here and play for us this
What was the
summer?"
team? Can you say or?
Yeah, the Austin Huns is who it was. Um,
Yeah, I was
that
gonna
turned out
say.
to
I
be a
was gonna
mistake
say
for them.
because you said you weren't that great at rugby, but I was gonna say I was looking at your YouTube. You look like you got some fucking ham hocks on you for legs. I thought you might be pretty
Wow.
good. How old are you?
I'm 25 right now.
25. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm 31.
I don't know. Oh yeah. Well, see, all my friends these days are in their 30s. It's really weird.
Yeah,
Like I don't have anybody my age that's my friend. It's
yeah.
weird.
You might be ahead of your
Yeah.
time. Who knows?
I'm
Yeah.
an old soul. I don't know what
Right
to tell
on.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but so
do you like? So you like making jokes about like mostly kind of silly things. Do you ever? What are some of your favorite topics to do stand up about?
well, the best advice I ever gave myself, I guess, was the best comedy is counterintuitive but objectively true. You know, and Joe Rogan's bit on that is perfect, where he's talking about Harvey Weinstein. Have you ever
Okay.
heard this bit?
Um,
And you,
Joe Rogan's bit about Harvey Weinstein. Which special is it on?
I don't know. I saw it on. He talked about it on his podcast,
Oh, okay.
and
Let's hear it.
the whole premise of the joke was like, Harvey Weinstein did these horrible, awful things so that women could get jobs in the film industry, and if he ever did that to my daughter, I'd kill him.
Oh yeah,
But
that one.
if Harvina Weinstein did the same thing to my son, I'd be like, dude, you're gonna be Batman. And what I loved about that was that it was counterintuitive because obviously what you're saying is like, uh, sexual assault is bad. But and there's the but in the counterintuitive part. The objectively true part comes in is like people don't care as much whenever it's towards a man. You
Yep,
know what I mean?
for sure.
And so like I saw that and I thought, well, I need to change how I'm writing bits because I can't just go up there and be like, here's this crazy dog, bit or whatever. That's just shock jockey. And so then I started to become a student of it, and I was like, okay, metaphors, similes,
Yep.
timing, presence, and that's one thing I see a lot of new comics do is they don't study anything. You don't have to like go online and be like, "What- the joke doctor, what does he say?" But you have to look at the pros and actually analyze what they're doing, try to figure out why they're better than you.
For sure.
Um, and so yeah, that's the kind of jokes I like to make are like that, almost Norm Macdonald esque, where he's talking about identification. You ever heard that bit?
I'm not sure. Remind me of it, and maybe you can remind me again. I have seen all his stuff,
It's
so
a
I'm sure I have heard it.
Yeah, it's a bit only Norm can do, where he's like, identification is a weird word, because the I stands for I, but the D stands for dentification. So we all
Yeah,
know who's carrying the heavy load on that one.
that's a
Like
good one.
just
Yeah, I think
it's
I.
so silly but true.
Yeah, Norm is great. I think I have heard that bit. Did you happen to catch his most recent special there that he just did on his laptop before he kind of?
Yeah, I love that shit. I
Yeah,
wish I could have seen it in front of a crowd, man.
me
That
too. Me too. Yeah, that's too
I
bad.
had a weird relationship with Norm because I don't know him, but like whenever I first started doing comedy, everybody always said that I sounded like Norm. And like the first time somebody was like, "Hey, you kind of stealing Norm's act," and I was like, "Well, I thought he was another guy at the club." I was like, "Who the fuck is Norm?" Like these are
Yeah,
my jokes. I made
yeah,
this shit. And then they showed me a video online, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta change my entire act."
yeah, yeah.
And because
You
that was
are
just a
very
voice I
similar to him.
chose.
You are very similar to
Yeah.
him for sure in your delivery.
Well, we both grew up on a farm. Uh,
Yeah,
I
which
don't know.
reminds me. Yeah, where did you grow up? And where are you at now?
I grew up in Hamilton, Missouri, and which the farm's actually in Kingston, but small town of 1,800 people. And then I'm in Phoenix right now because, like I said, I just got done playing rugby, and my buddy lives in Phoenix, so I was like, I don't really want to go home because that's embarrassing. After it is and it isn't. People keep telling me I should be proud of myself, but I'm like, look, just getting fired from anything sucks. All right, I don't care if it's professional or not. And so everybody was so excited for me. It only lasted 2 weeks. So I was like, I don't want to go home. I just bummed around with my buddy Kyle here and started doing comedy in Phoenix and trying to make my way to Austin. I'm in between whether I'm going to stay here or go back to Austin.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
that's
Austin's
where
a
I'm
good
at right
place to
now.
be. Um, my buddy here from Canada, Ben Bankus, he's a pretty famous comedian here in Canada. Like he's pretty much our best up and coming guy right now. He uh, he just went down to Austin. He moved there, so it's a good place to be for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
One of the things the guys here were telling me was like, look, man, you can rise through the ranks here and then go to Austin. And I was like, yeah, but there's something about being around where the best are, New York or Austin, that really I want to be around.
yeah.
And
But you don't want to
there's
lose
good
your
comics here.
authenticity. Like, just let me just put a quick tidbit in. Not to disagree with
Sure.
you. You do whatever you want. But like, as a with the way the internet is now, you don't necessarily like. I see what you're saying about how when you're in New York or you're in LA or Austin, it lends itself that the longer you're there, it makes you seem more like
Right.
you're a part of that crew and all that kind of a thing. But then, and I guess the only real reason I would disagree is because I'm sort of doing the opposite of that in a sense. But like you look at a guy like Theo Vaughn, for example. I know he
Mm-hmm.
cut, he made his fan base in LA, so it's not like he didn't do exactly what you're saying anyway. But at the end of the day, I guess if you are more leaning towards stand up versus podcasting, then you might be on the right track with that plan. But with podcasting, I really feel, and I don't even know if I'm qualified to say this yet with the size my show is, but I feel like authenticity is the most important part. Like you do have to distribute yourself. People do have to find you, but the most important part is creating good content and creating genuine content. You know what I'm saying? Because there's
Oh
so
yeah.
many podcasts out there now. You have to be so competitive. You have to be so competitive with it with every beat.
Which is exactly why I didn't want to do what everyone else was doing. I didn't just want to throw up a podcast and be like, here's my opinion on fucking abortion or whatever.
Exactly.
Uh, yeah, I wanted to like have like new bits and or new what do they call that? Yeah, like a new segment, that
Yeah.
people haven't done. Which I haven't thought of any. I have some ideas, but I haven't thought of any ones that I would really want to implement yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to do what everyone else does because I think it's kind of folly. Like it defeats the whole purpose of doing comedy. Like you're
Yeah.
supposed to do new, interesting stuff that's original.
Yeah. It's crazy to
Um,
think that now podcasts are a thing that everyone does. Because I'm to you,
right.
I'm saying from your perspective, because it's crazy. Because when I started doing podcasts, I would think it was 4 or 5 years ago. It was like nobody was doing it, and it was like weird to start a podcast or risky.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing I've been thinking about is like, what's that next thing? What's that
Yeah.
next thing that's weird or risky right now that
Exactly.
is going to be
Yeah.
normal?
And one final comment I wanted to say about the podcasting thing before we move on from that was just that, like, because you're saying you want to do segments and stuff like that, and that's cool. Aside from the obvious comment of like, the more you do it, the better it will be. But like, aside from that, I find that like the Rogan model, where it's kind of a free flowing thing and there isn't segments, almost lends itself best to people like you and
Yeah.
I, where essentially you just kind of see what bubbles to the surface and you see what yeah. So
Right.
that's for one
No,
my
I
one.
agree with that. I think the only thing I was thinking was like, how could I make a YouTube short that people would kind of start to follow with,
Yeah, for right now, if
because
hilariously enough, yeah, you just got to find a shtick for shorts. Like sorry to
yeah,
interrupt, man. I'm making this about me here. My shtick right now for shorts
you're all right.
is lumberjacking. Like I take apart pallets with like really quickly.
Oh, you're that guy.
I built to
Oh my god. I didn't
no.
know that, dude. I've been watching those forever, and in the back of my mind, I thought I've seen this guy somewhere, but all Canadians look alike. You know
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, I
and
got one that has like 1 million views. It's pretty awesome, but they're good for
that's
shorts.
awesome, dude.
And what was I? Oh, my other question was going to be, yeah, you need to find a shtick for shorts. I want to hear about that. Uh, what kind of engineer are you?
I am an engineering manager. So basically, what that means is I do supply chain management, I do industrial plant layout, and project management.
Got you. Yeah,
And there's
here
a
here we call
caveat of
that
other
a
things.
cool, cool. Here we call that an industrial engineer. It's weird how they label engineers different names based on where you are. Hey, I'm
Right.
a civil engineer. I specialize in structures. I That's how I got taking apart pallets. Was I built these two big structures at a couple of my houses, and
Yeah.
I manufactured all the siding for it out of pallets. So I've had to take apart like thousands of them. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's good exercise. So yeah.
I love your videos, man. Like I feel embarrassed. I didn't do my research before this,
Oh,
but
fair, no problem. I
yeah,
got too
dude, I've
many.
been
Yeah.
watching those.
Yeah. Did you happen to catch any of the Firefax stuff? I find that it's a lot like I do the pod commercials too, but they're not like yours.
Right.
My Firefax segments are more like your pod commercials, where it's just kind of one thing and then a redirect, essentially. Like
Sure.
like if you believe in aliens, your uncle touched you or whatever. So like it's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
oh, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So what kind of a shtick do you think you're going to go for with your shorts?
Um, you know, I really don't have any amazing ideas right now. The only shorts I have, like I said, are the videos I've been doing. But I don't know. I need to do more research on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's why I haven't done it. Like I fully agree with like the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. But I don't even have anything right now that I could think would be worthwhile. Like I've thought about starting off everything with like, are you talking about like camera tricks and stuff like that, or are you just talking about like creative
Well,
segments? Because
for
I've thought about doing improv, but
yeah, boredom. It is the scourge of us all. We all need to find ways to keep ourselves occupied in this life. In this emptiness, vast emptiness, we find things that will stray us. And what we need is we need elegance in our lives. So we all find this in a place that we can find it together. Podcasting. An environment where everyone is together. We can talk, share ideas, be happy. Podcasting. Let's all share together. Please go and subscribe to our YouTube page where you can find the video versions of all of our podcasts. Also, shoot us an email if you want at CanadianTalkWithStephanPodcast@gmail.com. Well, for like a 15-second video, you literally need to just kind of be doing one thing, which I guess you're already doing.
yeah.
Um, um, Dang it!
Which and I need to cut those down on time. They're a little long right now, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Sorry, sometimes I lose my train of thought completely. Shit. What else? So, yeah, you were saying. Oh, yeah, you were saying that you need to put more time into it. I was saying that like, what's the way that you? Oh no, that was what I was going to ask you. Okay, here we go, bro. We're back.
all right.
Okay. So what kind of jokes are you planning to write for your stand-up? Like, I assume because you don't have much videos on your Instagram of you doing stand-up. Do you have them kind of just off
Yeah.
to the side, but you don't know how to edit them, or because for 3 years, I would imagine that you have, especially if you were running the improv, you were videotaping the sets. I assume, right?
Yeah. So the big problem is I don't have the equipment. Like it's all bad sound quality, and also all my jokes are constantly changing and getting better. And so I'm always afraid I'm going to throw a joke up, and then I'll think of a better way to go about it. There's a couple like I don't know if you saw the poverty one I threw up, but
That was the
it
one.
was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
yeah, that's one. My new strategy on that is so yeah. I guess this is basically to answer your earlier question. My new strategy on that is like I'm gonna start writing one-liners, like good, solid one-liners, test them out, and then build a joke on after that. Because in my own personal opinion, I think if you have a solid killer one-liner, you have a good 3-minute joke you haven't found yet. And so I want to post up like one-liners that have more with it, so that if I do gain a following, I'm not like burning material. They're just seeing like the first part of it, and then there's a whole idea behind it that's also funny.
yeah,
And the next one I'm going to do on that is people say I look like a frat boy that roofies his cows. And
yep,
so that's a pretty good joke that I've made in the recent months, and it's been hitting well. So I'm gonna keep tweaking it and working on my pauses, working on my attitude I'm doing during it, and then sometime whenever I get a good solid recording of it, because that's the other problem too is I was in Raleigh, I was in Kansas City, St. Louis, Phoenix, LA, Austin, like every feels like every 4 months I'm moving somewhere, so
wow,
I can't really yeah, just because of rugby, really, and
that's all.
college. It is and it isn't because I think if you really
No,
want to get in front of like shows, you have to become friends with comedians, and that takes some time. And then you have to rise through the ranks of each scene so that you can get in front of people. And the cool thing is, the better you get at comedy, the shorter that time period gets. Because
okay,
like when I was in LA, I got on like one show when I was there, and that was pretty hard to get. And then here though, I was here for like a month, and then I had like 4 or 5 shows within the first 2 or 3 weeks, and that was pretty cool. So that's the other thing I thought about too is like I'm gonna keep getting better, and the more content I push out, I want it to look good in the future as well. I don't want to look back and go, I shouldn't have posted that.
yeah, yeah, but you can't let it. You can't let the anxiety stop you too much.
Yeah.
If I were you, and I
So
mean, shit, dude, like you got to get, yeah, get the equipment. Get the
Yeah,
equipment.
I got to get the equipment, and then also I need to get in front of a real crowd so that it's not like me at an open mic being like, "Here's my joke that I really love and cherish," and everyone's just like, "I'm playing Wordle on my phone,"
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
noticed that some of the people that I'm friends with, like in Austin and stuff, follow you as well. That's why I had. You haven't been on Kill Tony, hey? Like, you just never been polled, or have you signed up?
Oh, dude, I signed up every week I was there. This is a sore subject because I would sit
Mm,
there and I would be like, "Today is the day," and then some guys like, "Yeah, I started comedy like 2 months ago, and I just put my name in the bucket," and then their name gets pulled, and I'm like just enraged, and it's a bad attitude to have, but like, because
yeah.
it is random and it's for whoever, but at the same time, I was like, I could do so much better. I had this with yesterday. I went to a show at House of Comedy, and trying to get into that scene and like there were some good people on it that definitely deserved to be there, but then there were some people that I was like, yeah, I've got to be on the show right now. I have got to. I can't sit here and watch this, And my buddy gave me great advice, Aldo, and he's like, hey, we need to stand down today. This is a networking day. And I was like, I can't do that, man. I don't like the network, but
Yeah, me neither.
yeah,
Me neither. I'm
we all
I'm,
hate
I'm
it.
terrified of the stage too. That's sort of why I've leaned into the podcasting thing myself. Is
Yeah.
I'm terrified of the
Well,
stage.
what
I've
makes you
done
terrified?
what would make me terrified? Was that your question?
Yeah, about the stage.
Oh, geez. First off, I appreciate you asking me a question because I feel like in my last like 4 podcasts I've done, I haven't been asked a single question by a person.
Really?
I don't
Well,
know.
then I'll take it back.
I've had
Um,
I've had stage fright for quite a while, ever since I was a little kid, I think. But also too, I just don't know if I like the repeated anxiety and responsibility of going on stage.
yeah,
I imagine it becomes fun. Like I've done it, I've done it maybe a few times, like but I've done it with big comedians, like in front of big rooms where it's just like more or less I'm a host, sort of, like I drop one
sure.
little thing. So, and it's just so terrifying for me. I don't like it because I can't think straight. And I also can't collect myself. Like that moment there
Yeah.
in the podcast today where I kind of forgot what we were talking about, and I eventually got us back on track. If that happened on stage, you'd pretty much lose it and you'd have to walk off, right? Or
Yeah. I mean, not, I had that at one point, and I don't really remember how I got over it. I just remember thinking, like, trying to detach myself from it and basically be like, well, this isn't about me. Like, if I want to be good, I have to get over this. So, like, don't think about like what to do, or just get over it. And so then I would go on stage and I would still get the jitters, and I would kind of stammer and stuff like that. And then I would get off stage and be like, dude, I was so obviously nervous. And people go, no, I couldn't tell at all. And I would literally be like, you didn't see me up there like shaking? Like I had no idea. So I guess for a little bit, it's sort of like that. When you're high, I don't know if you smoke weed. I don't smoke
a little
weed,
bit.
but I've heard this before. Like when you're high and you go, oh, everybody thinks I'm high right now.
Oh
Nobody,
yeah,
nobody's high.
yeah,
That's sort of what's going on stage. You're thinking everybody is thinking that I'm super nervous, and it's a facade that we make in our mind. And once you can realize that it's a facade, then everything gets easier. And then also you have to realize like the best comedy, and I know you know this, the best comedy is relaxed and poised and confident. And so even if you can just act, which I have a bit of an acting background doing those theater shows, if you can just act and pretend that what you're feeling inside isn't what's on the outside, that helps a lot. And then you get confidence with that, and then all of a sudden you really aren't nervous on stage.
yeah. Then all of a
So
sudden you're doing it. Yeah. Thanks, man.
maybe you
That's
should do
great
some
advice.
acting classes or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe, or maybe I just keep doing exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I don't
just
know.
keep me nervous. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, I just because I like interviewing people, like more so than the stand up. I like interviewing people, meeting people like you, and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
Well, dude, if that's what you want to do, then fucking do it,
exactly,
Because there's people like that in this industry. Like, there's a lot of comics that can't do a lot of the, like, if
long
you if
form
you
stuff.
really wanted to make it in this business, being a good podcaster, being a fucking good person that knows how to run sound equipment, knows how to edit stuff. There's a bunch of comics that just are too lazy. They don't want to do it. And they'll be like, "Do you want to do it? I'm going
Yeah,
on the road."
and then it
And
becomes a
then, yeah, of
job.
course,
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure. Yeah,
So
that's
it's all who you know.
the other thing I do hate though, because like, and again, we're talking about me here. I apologize. Is
I don't care.
I hate that we have to do it over camera. I mean, technology's gotten pretty good. Sorry,
Right.
your arm sore from holding your phone or something, man?
No, I had to spit out my Zen pouches.
Oh, you
So
doing some zins? Yeah, nice. I I
yeah.
I don't love zin. I prefer like regular tobacco.
I hate Zins. If I'm being honest, I hate them with a passion.
Oh, you just had to
And
quit
I
or what?
also, oh yeah, dude, I've been trying to quit for like fucking 3 years, but there's something in me that I can't do it. I don't know what it is. Like I'll stop and then I'll think to myself, I could really use a Zin right now, and then I'll even remember like how bad I feel during it, not in guilt, but just like, and I'll go, nah, I'll do it again. Like I'm
Yeah,
so needlessly self-destructive,
yeah,
which is something I'm trying to work on right now. Like I'm listening to Jordan Peterson, and he's like,
yeah. He's
you know
great.
what I'm
Eh? He's a
saying?
good. Do you have any
Yeah.
other intellectuals that you like?
I've been reading a book on Carl Jung right now, and I basically got him because of Jordan Peterson.
I feel like
I did the
he
smart thing
will
and I
not
got
stop
Epstein.
referencing him. Hey, he fucking will. Oh, just constantly references him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
But
Um,
I mean, as other intellectuals, I'm a big fan of Bill Cosby. I think he has some good ideas. Uh,
dude,
yeah.
I hope that Bill Cosby starts a podcast.
Dude, it
I
would
was
kind of
saying
be
that 3 years
amazing.
ago before they let him out. I was saying that Bill
Yeah,
Cosby needs to start a podcast. Yeah, it's
right.
crazy that somebody doesn't
I
know. Sorry, go ahead.
well, that's just amazing. I still can't believe he got out of prison. I mean, I don't know. That never sat right with me because it's like we all know that he did it, and yeah, legally, technically, they did fuck him because they said they weren't gonna do that, and then they did. But like that's the problem with the legal system is it's you're proven you're there's those exceptions to everything. Like obviously, if it was me in his situation and I didn't actually do what he did, I would want the legal system on my back. But if we know that he did it, we can probably like have like you have a executive pardon. There ought to be an executive jail. You know, we're like, no, that guy did that. He needs to go to jail. I
Yeah,
should write. That's a bit. I need to write
there we
that
go.
down.
We got a banger.
Yeah,
We got a
yeah.
banger. So
But
let me
yeah,
ask
the
you this.
president ought to be able to be like, we know you did that shit.
Yeah,
Of course, then he would put everybody he doesn't like in prison. It's just
yeah,
government's weird,
yeah.
you
It's
know.
cool. Well, a lot of those old guys are coming around and making a comeback, like Cat Williams, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's been
I love
really funny
cats.
lately. Um, Question for you: what is your ethnicity? If like
I'm white.
you're from Missouri, right? You're American.
Yeah, I'm American. I have some English in me. I have a lot of English in me,
Okay.
and then I
Well, then
have
you have that one pod commercial where you're making fun of English people.
yeah. Well, that's because for whatever reason, I've had like 3 or 4 English roommates. Like when I was at NCMC, I had an English roommate, and then another one came in. They were both golfers. And then when I was in college, I had my buddy Jack, who's a good friend of mine, and he was a weird English guy because he's technically got his green card, and he's been in America since he was 4 years old, so he doesn't sound English, but he's like he's half English, half Irish, and so he's a yeah, he's basically he's like, oh, I love England and stuff like that, but he sounds like an American who's a Denver Broncos fan. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And so like I would
Yeah.
always just talk to him about English and stuff like that. And so that's what when I was first starting these videos, I was like, I'll make one on that just to kind of piss him off, to be honest. And then I sent it right to him, and I was like, oh, here's my English accent that you love so much,
Yeah.
And
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you do
yeah.
the videos you do really like how long does it take you to make one of them?
I'm getting faster at them. It takes me because the way I film is different. Like I'll write out words and punchlines, but then I like to improvise. So I'll just sit in front of a camera for 15 minutes and I'll just throw a
Yeah.
bunch of lines out there.
Me too.
And
Yeah.
then I always do the part where I'm sitting in overalls first because I feel like that's the core of it. And then I'll build the second part after it. And what I've found in the videos is the guest I have, which is also me,
Yeah.
apparently, uh, is also like that part's usually what makes the video. So
Yeah.
those are usually improvised lines, and then I never even know what the video is going to be until I edit it because I'll have 30 minutes of clips for a 30-second video, and then I'll just go through and watch it. So all in all, it probably takes me about 4 hours to make one of them,
That's
which
not
I
bad.
know needs to be improved. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that because it requires so much sporadic behavior.
Yeah.
Um,
Just
but
coming
yeah,
up with the
that's sort
improv.
of
Yeah.
been my process.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sporadic behavior, you mean coming up with the improv lines and that type of stuff. Is that what you mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
having the idea and just letting my mind run on it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's my
Yeah,
favorite part of it too. It's funny that you say that because that's exactly what I do on the Firefax ones as well.
I mean, you just like you can. It's like stand-up comedy. You can write down a good structured bit, but you gotta, you can't just let it be the
Yeah,
writing. You got to go outside of that.
you got to live in it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you got to live in it.
That's part
That's
of
what
why
makes it
I
authentic.
for sure, for
Sorry,
sure.
go
No,
ahead.
that's okay. That's part of why I do podcasting because like what you were saying, like I feel that my process for coming up with funny stuff is so convoluted that that's why podcasting is really the only way I can even arrive at what I'm trying to find.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talking to other people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are you fat? Do you feel like sometimes you're not really that. You might have a hemorrhoid, but you're not really so sure? You need to do things to entertain yourself so that you're not always kind of scratching at your butthole and stuff. See, your roommates, they're going to walk in on you. They're going to see you doing things that you shouldn't be doing. You need to make a change in your life so that you just don't become a goblin. You don't want to be a goblin. That's why there's a community. The internet has created a community. It's called podcasting. It's here for all of us. It's here for you. It's here for me. Come and see. And then there will be 3. Bring your friends. They can join too. And we will have lots of fun. Thank you. Check out a podcast.
Please go and subscribe to our YouTube page where you can find the video versions of all of our podcasts. Also, shoot us an email if you want at Canadian Talk with Stephan podcast at gmail.com. So, all right. So you are English, hey? That's
Yes,
we're
sort
both
of.
English.
Yeah,
We're a couple of colonizers here talking about
that's
a
right.
country that we took over. Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
So do you identify you identify more with being American, hey?
Yeah, I didn't even. I remember asking my grandpa when I was like 13, be like, "What is our background?" And he's like, I think we're English. So that's what I've always said. So I could be fucking German. I have no idea,
Yeah.
but I know Hartley is the last name that is very English.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's a English Scottish for sure, or something like that, I think.
yeah.
I googled it before you came on here, I'm not going to lie.
Oh yeah.
I've been getting into that for the last little while is figuring out what names are what ethnicity, you know. Especially for
Right.
whites because there's so many different kinds of whites. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah,
Too many. Put them in a box. Throw them
no
down the
doubt.
river. Yeah.
Throw them away like a couple of puppies we
Yeah.
didn't want. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we'll do that with the who would we do that with? The French or
I was thinking those fucking people in the Cajun people is what I was thinking. They're already right by the water. You can't understand what they're saying anyways.
exactly bingo. There you go.
Send them to Curacao or something. I don't know.
Curacao.
But
What's that?
that's a little island. It's like just north of Brazil. I only know about it because we had a lot of baseball players on the team from Curacao.
Oh,
Uh,
fair enough.
so it's like Dominican Republic from Wish.com, basically,
Oh yeah.
is what it is.
Oh yeah. So where do you get so just as a person now, not as a stand-up comic, like where do you get some of your news and stuff like that?
Where do I get my news?
Yeah.
Man, I would suppose it'd have to be on like Instagram and YouTube because we don't really have TV where I'm at right now. So I don't watch Fox News or CNN or anything, but I'll see their clips and stuff. It's really from word of mouth, which is not a very cultured thing to say. I go, well, that's what that guy said. I'll believe that.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like you're following the Native American model a little
Yeah.
bit, eh? Word of mouth.
That's how I found out about JFK's assassination. They're like, they killed this guy? I go, really? That's wild.
Yeah.
What'd he do?
What did he do? Who is he?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. You are funny as fuck. Jesus
Well, I
Christ.
appreciate it.
I can't even focus on what I want to say here. Well, I tell you, I mean, we've done a full episode, man. So I want to do more episodes with you. Like we can call this an
Absolutely.
episode for today. We've had good laughs, and I just want to say before we end, thank you so much for coming on. Like I appreciate it. You seem to be you're very wise with comedy, and you've got a lot of good things to say. And I'm excited to do more episodes of podcasts with you. I hope
I
we
would
can do-
love to.
Yeah.
I would love to. My schedule's free. It's open. So anytime, anywhere.
Okay, cool. So right before we finish, also, do you have any shows coming up anywhere like that you'd like to promote?
I have a show at House of Comedy April 3rd. I think it's at 7 o'clock. Yeah, in Phoenix, Arizona. And then I have the Hangman set also at House of Comedy March 27th. And I don't know. Maybe if I get another one, I can send it to you and you can post it on your, so all the Canadians can
Absolutely.
fly down here. Those
Absolutely.
snowbirds.
Yeah, I'll put it up on a graphic before the episode. So yeah,
Sick.
that is all with Nicholas Hartley. You can find him on Instagram as Dick Shartley or on YouTube as Nicholas Hartley 6173. All right, man. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot, and
I appreciate it.
I'll see you later. That's Canadian Talk out.